Hi there, my name is Kay Moon, and this is a video about the Aries New Moon for Twin Flames. I am both a Twin Flame channel and Western astrologer, and I thank you so much for watching this New Moon video. This New Moon is the new moon every year that I call the Divine Masculine's New Moon. The Aries New Moon is the first new moon in a masculine sign. For those of you who are newer to astrology, all of the signs are given a gender in astrology, masculine or feminine. And the Aries new moon, being the first sign of the zodiac, Aries, the Aries new moon is the divine masculine's new moon. In about a month from now, Taurus being the first feminine sign of the zodiac, Aries being the first masculine sign of the zodiac, but Taurus being the first feminine sign of the zodiac, we will have the divine feminine's new moon. And then after that, in the sign of Gemini, about 2 months from now, we will have the twin flames new moon. And these three new moons really lay the template and the groundwork for the energy that we'll all be experiencing in our masculine and feminine energies for the remainder of the astrological year. This new moon took place on March 24th, 2020 at 5:28 a.m. Miami, Florida time. Please use a time zone converter to find the time in your local time zone. Thank you so much for doing so. I won't be able to convert for every time zone. I appreciate your understanding of that. But there's some interesting energies about this new moon. For the full picture of this new moon, I really implore you to go ahead and watch the general video for the Aries new moon because it really lays out the energy for the entire astrological new year, not just for twin flames. In this video, I'm really going to focus on and address the energy for twin flames. So this particular new moon comes in with a self-healing energy in the sign of Aries. Aries, there's this, little group here. There's the sun and the moon conjunct, making that new moon. Whenever the sun and moon are conjunct, they make a new moon. But sitting with this new moon, there's also Chiron, the wounded healer. And the beautiful gift of Chiron sitting with this new moon in the masculine sign of Aries is that this new moon is bringing with it a healing to masculine energies around the planet by showcasing where the wound is that needs to be healed and needs to be brought into balance. This new moon also sits with Lilith. Here she is in the chart. And Lilith and Chiron together, it's not just a healing, but it's a healing done in our way. It's a need to heal ourselves in the way that we see fit. And to not just heal ourselves in the way that we see fit, but to honor who we are and our deepest dreams and our deepest desires in the ways in which we are going about healing ourselves. There are some ways with this new moon that, and I'll get into these energies in a moment, that some of our wounds and the hits that we have taken in our lives via the expression of our passion and our ambition and our drive, these are all Aries energies: passion, ambition, drive. Some of the wounds that we've taken in the course of achieving our passions and our ambitions, we are now in the place where we're being asked and invited to heal those things, to allow those things to come to the surface, to see the ways in which we've either compromised ourselves or been compromised circumstantially as we have moved about creating our particular dreams. This new moon sits opposite the shaman's asteroid here in the partnership sign of Libra. And the shaman's asteroid brings forward an energy of going on a very arduous physical journey. via which we are able to bring back spiritual truths for our tribe. Um, it's a warrior's journey, and that warrior's journey matures us and brings forward a lot of wisdom. For those of you who had a listen to the Divine Masculine's journey of 2020, this is, I'll just bring that forward and I'll share with you how that looks here in my video playlist so that you can find it. This is the moment in the Divine Masculine's journey where there's a bit of a rock bottom that gets hit, and not just for Divine Masculines. We're seeing this for masculine energies all over the planet. Excuse me. Okay. Over here, if you have a look in my playlists or under videos, I don't think I put this one in a playlist. Over here, Twin Flame Divine Masculine 2020 Energies. In this particular video, my guides really provided an overview of the journey that Divine Masculines will be on between 2020 and 2023. During this particular period of time, you're going to find that masculine energy within you operates in this particular way. I'll just show you here we go. Now you can see it. There we go. This moment of this year is this part down here, recognizing powerlessness and finding true power. That's the moment that Divine Masculine energies are facing at this time. And there's a lot of recognition of powerlessness among all of us in our masculine energies. Powerlessness to command schools to open or to provide cures for sick family members, or powerlessness to protect some of the people that we most love and some of the most vulnerable. We're at this moment in time where, we've come through the inner rejection of self and the outer rejection of truth, the moment of anti-wisdom. And now we're recognizing the truths that can't be ignored. And within that, there does come a situation or an energy of recognizing where we cannot control the outer world, and the only thing that we can control is ourselves. Much of this is brought forward at this time during the Divine Masculine's new moon via this conjunction here of Pluto and Jupiter. Here they are. Mars is also part of that configuration. Mars represents the human masculine imperative. Jupiter represents the divine masculine imperative. And you see the three of them sitting here at 23 degrees Capricorn, 24 degrees Capricorn, and 25 degrees Capricorn. This is pretty much all the masculine energy in the sky having a powwow with the Lord of the Underworld, Pluto. Pluto's work in this configuration is all about showing us what has to die so that we can truly live from a place of love. And what I love about this particular moment isn't how hard it is, but it's that Venus is here, making a trine aspect to this energy over here in Capricorn. Jupiter is going to meet Pluto 3 times in the sky this year. And in those 3 meetings with Pluto, there will be a stripping of some of all of our, not just divine masculines, those who incarnated in a male body, but if you're in a woman body, you have masculine energy too. There will be a stripping of all of our egos and all of our masculine pride and all of our masculine bravado, and a humbling during this period of time to show us the truth of who we really are and how we need to act in love in the 3D world, because Venus sits here in the earth sign of Taurus. That's all about the 3D world and the body. Capricorn, where all of this energy is taking place, is in another earth sign, and that's where the Mars, the Pluto, the Jupiter are at the divine masculine's new moon. And so this energy is showing us all, how is love a verb? How do we not just only love ourselves and make sure that we are stockpiled in our house, but how do we love our neighbor? How do we love that family member who's at a distance? How do we love that sibling that we've been estranged from? We could lose them. This moment in 2020 is the great leveler. How do we love that ex that we share children with? Even though it's been challenging prior to now, something happens to us, the child still needs a parent. How do we love that, that coworker that we still have to find a way to work with remotely? We don't want them to die, but certainly it's not been easy. So how do we love them through this? This is the moment where our masculine energies are confronted with all of the barriers and all of the borders that we have built around ourselves to protect ourselves, because that's Capricorn, structure and borders, where those things start to come crumbling down. They start to dissolve. They start to break. That's Pluto. How do we break those so that love can enter the field, so that love can be the truth of what is left? So it's a very beautiful new moon time, despite how challenging this energy is in the 3D world. And it's a universal reset, globe-wide, worldwide. It is a universal reset for the masculine energies within all of us. And it's a really awesome time to be looking inside and asking ourselves, where do I need to humble myself in the name of love? What barriers do I need to overcome to either forgive? I'm not saying you have to forget, but where do I need to forgive? Or where do I need to extend the olive branch? Where do I need to make peace where I have previously kept up war or previously kept up separation? Where can I now make love occur and make connection in the 3D world occur? It's a very humbling period of time, and the beautiful energy of this Chiron and Lilith here is showing us that we can do this in our own way. We don't have to necessarily do this in the way that everyone else is doing it. We can do this work in the way that works for us. And so in your connections, if you are noticing that, someone is reaching out in their own way to make peace, to make amends, to stay connected when previously there may have been disconnection, the work incumbent upon us is to decide, do I need them to be perfect or do I need them to be present? Does love really require perfection, or does love really just require presence? These are the questions that the Aries New Moon is presenting to all of us. And like I said, the energy of this new moon for twin flames, it's going to be in effect all the rest of this year through the end of the year, through Pisces season of next year. So use this energy to look at yourself. We should all be looking at ourselves and recognizing ways in which, when we provide and protect and create for our communities, for our families, for our connections at large, no matter where these connections have been. Because I know many of you walking into this moment, you've seen some pretty challenging times. with your twin. When we make the decision that what truly matters is being the embodiment of love, that's when we have the opportunity to transcend some of the most challenging energy that's available this year. We have the opportunity to lead the way from our own masculine drives, ambition, and goals and dreams, because that's all Aries energy is. It's passion, ambition, it's drive. In its purest form, it's just the projecting energy to go out and create. How can we do that in a way that is really reflective of the way we have experienced love and our connections as twins? How can we take that love and then share it with the wider world as a verb? How can we make sure that the love that we learned in our twin connections is a love that gets manifested in the physical world with that Venus and Earth sign Taurus and this humbling conjunction of Jupiter and Pluto and Earth sign Capricorn? This is about bringing love to the world in the 3D world form. So I'm very excited about this new moon. I really think that based on some of the stuff I've seen, like we're at a choice point, a divine choice point, as humbling as this is, where, we're getting the chance to see what really matters. We're getting the chance to see where we have shortchanged love by being in connections that are about money instead, or where we've betrayed love by staying in connections that are about ego or about security, that somehow we think we can't be secure if we don't live in the exact house now, with the exact car we have now, in the exact neighborhood that we're in now. Somehow we've construed it in our mind that if we don't have exactly what we have now, that we won't be secure. And this Jupiter-Pluto conjunction that's happening 3 times this year is revealing the truth to us that that's not real. That we actually have other ways of creating security in the 3D world that come from community and camaraderie and taking care of one another through love. Okay? So, the divine masculine Jupiter is going to meet with Pluto 3 times this year. The first time will be on April 4th of 2020 at the 24th degree of Capricorn. So that's coming up here in a few days. The second time will be on June 30th of 2020 at the 24th degree of Capricorn. And the third time is going to be on November 12th, when Jupiter finally, or Pluto's, they're both going direct at that point. November 12th, 2020 at the 22nd degree of Capricorn. And that's going to be the final meetup before we get to the 12/21. So that's 11/12. Then we get to 12/21 solstice, where Juno, and who I read as the divine feminine, and Jupiter sit in a harmonious trine. And that will be a giant union window opening for twin flames to take their very next step. Whatever that is for you. If you and your twin have been in no comms, you might get in communication. If you've been in some communication, you might take the next step toward a more harmonious communication. If you've been in harmonious and frequent communication, if you both decide you want to take the next step from there into some form of friendship that exists in the 3D world, it's all based on wherever you're at. The reality is, in the way life works, as we've incarnated in the 3D world, unions don't just magically happen upon you where, your beloved other half rides over to your house, bangs down the door, drags you out, throws you over their shoulder, and rides you off to the castle into the sunset. The work of being incarnated in the body means that you actually have to work the steps. If you want to have some sort of 3D world, physical union that exists beyond just friendship, You got to go through the friendship step and all the messiness of that. You got to go through the courtship step and all the confusion of that. It's not easy. It's not painless. And it's not magic. But love certainly can lead the way. And this particular moment is asking all of us, not just, I know most of you are divine feminines watching this channel, not just them. This is a humbling for us too. Where have we built walls? Where have we been unforgiving? Where have we tried to block out connection? This is our time to break those barriers down too. Okay? Where have we overprotected ourselves? Where have we deemed our hearts too small to survive another try of letting them in? Where have we decided that love isn't big enough to win? These are the kinds of humbling questions that we're being faced with as the divine masculine energy meets the Lord of the underworld and strips away anything that isn't pure spirit, pure love, pure heart, pure soul. Okay? Okay. One other energy taking place here that's super important to mention is this Jupiter-Pluto being square to Eris here in Aries. So Eris, Eris in Aries, is this little arrow pointing downwards. She is the goddess of strife and discord and disharmony. And when we have a square in between two energies, a square or an opposition, it's very rare that we get the best out of these energies. In fact, what we get is shadow work that needs to be done. When we get a square and we get the shadow energies between two planets, what we instead have to do is take a look at, okay, if this is my shadow, how am I going to dance with it? I was talking earlier today to Marie of Spiritual Baddie Tarot. If you're not following her, I really believe you absolutely must. She is an extraordinary light worker, light being, and spiritual teacher. We were talking about a dance that I'm having right now with faith. And I asked her, I said, Marie, what do I do about my faith? And I explained to her some of the things I was going through and what was happening for me around faith and trust. And she just channeled in. She just tapped right into the divine. And the message that came through her about faith for me, that I'm going to now share with each of you, is that, you need to nourish the wound. You need to nurture it, not block it out, not try to put it aside or put it in a closet, not dress it up and put lipstick on it and make it pretty. You need to nourish it. You need to nourish that part of you that has that discordant, let me just mess this all up shadow. And that's what Eris is. Eris and Aries it's self-sabotage to the nth degree. It's our own inability to work harmoniously in the collective simply because we don't feel like we're getting our due. It's our own inability to not put other people first. And instead to only put ourselves first. And when we're not getting put first by others, to then start throwing a huge tantrum and make other people's lives complicated. We're seeing this play out on the world stage. You don't need to look very far to recognize the signs and the symptoms of Eris and Aries. And she's been in Aries for the entire lifetime of most of the people who are on planet Earth right now. Eris moves very slow. We are in an Eris and Aries era of time. She moves very, very slow. And so with Jupiter and Pluto square to this Eris and Aries, the energy here is one of, while we're getting stripped, while our ego is being humbled, and while we are starting to learn what true masculine protectorship, providership, and procreatorship is, while we're learning these lessons, Eris is here dredging up the shadow, reminding us of all of our wounds and all of the ways that we've been compromised when we've been vulnerable before, all the ways that we've been sacrificed when we've given to others and trusted them to include us in the sharing of abundance. Eris is here stirring the pot of all of the ways that we want to remember ourselves first. She's a very potent energy in the sky, squaring these two. But because at the time of this new moon, we also have this sextile here to Venus, which is love, we have a choice. And it's really, we can get caught up in our shadow. I'm just going to protect me and mine. I'm going to go get all the guns and all the ammo for me and my family. For those of you who live in America, you know what we're dealing with the gun stock ups here. I'm going to get all the food and all the toilet paper just for us. But Venus is here, showing us pictures from not just America, but from around the world, of how people are taking that extra step to leave food for their neighbors, to make sure their neighbors have supplies that they need, volunteering to make sure that the elderly or the sick and the shut-in have the opportunity to see someone who cares, to have a face that checks in on them, even if they can't come to where they live. This is the choice. Who are you? In the face of being stripped down to nothing, who are you? When you have nothing, when Pluto takes everything from you, what do you stand for? That's what this new moon is asking us. And this is a choice that we're going to be making all year. Habits and energies and vibrations and frequencies aren't built by a single mental moment. They are built choice after choice after choice in our lives. When you meet someone who's got a high vibration, that vibration is high vibe, not because they sit there and they, today they had a positive thought like, oh, I'll be nice to my neighbor. That high vibration is resonant in their frequency because of all the small choices they made repeatedly, one after another. And that's the gift of this new moon and the gift of this Jupiter-Pluto meetup multiple times this year. It's giving us ample opportunity to build our warrior vibration, to build the warrior of love vibration within us. That's the gift here. All right, let's talk about what's going on with the Divine Feminine and close out this video. The Divine Feminine is the asteroid Juno. She's known as the divine consort of Jupiter. She sits here at the 15th degree of Libra, air sign Libra, almost square, again, that brings out shadow energies to the divine masculine. This 15th degree of Libra lets us know that she is literally smack dab right in the middle of the 30 degrees that make up Libra. And Libra is the sign of balance. It's the sign of equality and equity. And it's also the sign of partnership, truly you and me being equals in partnership. This lets us know that our divine feminine energies, male and female, our feminine energies are at a choice point. Again, there's that question. Who are you? What path do you choose? We're at a fork in the road. This year is going to dictate the trajectory that we are on for years to come in our lives. And this particular retrograde of her in Libra, the sign of balance, while he's sitting over here breaking down structures. This particular retrograde is asking both divine masculines in your feminine energy, how do you take care of your own wounds, sir? And it's asking her in her feminine energy, how do you take care of yourself in a connection that may not at the present be manifest in the physical world in the way you want it to be? For twins who are presently in a union state of some sort, this is asking you both the question, how can our union better serve humanity? Where are we playing small? How can we better serve not just those of us in our little family unit? How can our connection, how can we break down the walls around us so that our light can lead all of humanity, so that the love that we've conquered all to be able to experience can elevate all of humanity at this moment when so much is breaking down? There's a fork in the road here for twins who are in union and twins who are not. Who are we at this moment in time? And for divine feminines, what's interesting about this moment is that that is the only thing she's asked to think about. The way the divine masculine is having conversations out here with Venus and Aries, the divine feminine, you look around the wheel here, there's not a whole lot hanging out over at 15 degrees of any other sign. The closest we get is a super loose, what we call yod in astrology, which is known as the finger of God. The yod in astrology is what shows us how energies that are seemingly discordant work themselves out. How do they come together to create a solution and a resolution to something that feels like it cannot possibly work otherwise? Now, this yacht is made up here of Neptune at the 18th degree of Pisces. Neptune has been in Pisces for years. Neptune, very spiritual. It governs the world of the unseen and water. The unseen world right now is both where all of our fears live and where all of our faith lives. Venus over here in Taurus, in her home sign, and both of them are strong because they are in their home signs. Venus in Taurus and Neptune in Pisces are coming in hot. Venus in Taurus is all about bringing love and nurturing and deeper connection, care to the physical body and money. It brings a lot of money to the physical world, which is unusual given that we're at a time right now where so many people are laid off or furloughed or taking a pause on their paycheck. Okay? What we've got going on between the two of them, when these two come together in a sextile, Juno and Venus, they yield a bit of both unrequited love that can now manifest as a spiritual ascension, a spiritual understanding of the truth of love, a spiritual understanding of the truth of money. It's like the money that we can't quite access, that we know is there, and we now have a deeper and spiritual understanding of what money and what love truly represent in terms of our values. They are an energy exchange. And this Neptune and this Venus are calling us all to have a deeper look at the ways that we exchange our energies with one another. Now, neither one of them are harmoniously placed to the divine feminine, neither one of them at all. These are what are called inconjunct energies. Inconjuncts are so challenging of a conversation, they're called a no conversation. And we've got spiritual truths here, and we've got money and love here, both sitting at a discordant angle to divine feminine energies. Divine feminine's just a word of warning. This is a moment where it's going to be very easy to find yourself in a very dark, disconnected place. Because when Juno is retrograde, she's not giving balance to connections, but instead she's focused on balancing out herself. She's focused on being a partner to herself. Put your own oxygen mask on first, always. The airlines have taught us this. It's the only way from a full cup that you can actually give to someone else. And simultaneously, that's what this energy is showing us here, is not necessarily to be selfish, but once you are centered in yourself, you have a place of truth to be able to give from, a place of integrity to be able to give from. And the place of integrity that you are asked to focus on and look at has to do with the spiritual truths about love and money at this point in time. You know, it's interesting. One of the things that Alison Armstrong talks about, and I had her on the channel a while back, I did an interview with her about seeing the heart of the divine masculine. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. It's one of the top viewed pieces of content on this channel. Alison Armstrong, for those of you that don't know, she has put together a body of work after decades of research, one-on-one interviews with men, where she interviewed them on topics of love, sex, money, intimacy, children, families, kids. And she took and culled all of the themes that these men showed her about what mattered to them and who they really were when they were at their best. And she put that work into an audiobook, which I highly recommend to anyone who's a divine feminine, called The Amazing Development of Men. But I bring this forward at this time because I have seen it in my own life, where this is a moment in time where divine feminines, if you are open, you will find that not only will the men who are not divine masculines, but also the men who are just in your constellation will show up to provide for you, protect you, and to make sure that you have what you need to create in your life in a way that you have not seen before. You are going to see an unparalleled and unprecedented level of masculine providership and protectorship at this time, if you are open to it. Open to it means allowing them to show up for you, asking for help if you need it, being willing to receive without criticism. Alison goes into all of this in her work in a really profound and beautiful way that restores connections between men and women on planet Earth, true divine masculine and divine feminine work, if there ever was any. But during this time where you have the opportunity to do deep self-reflection work, this is a moment where you are being called to stand in the vibration of the spiritual truths of love and resources with all of the people in your life, divine feminines, but also a moment where you are being asked to both lead the way in love with your divine counterpart and simultaneously let them show you who they are. Like I said, I've seen this in my own life, my own brother, my own father, my own divine masculine, like all three of them blew me away in the last week, and the way that they showed up to provide for me, protect me, make sure I had what I needed, even putting themselves at risk to do so. And here I was in a poor me story at the top of last week about how I was going to be left out to dry, figure this whole thing out on my own. But when I just opened up and stayed connected, they showed up and they showed out. And I am so humbled, so honored, and so grateful that the men in my life are the men in my life. And if you're not having this experience just yet, I highly recommend, this is a great time to dig into Alison Armstrong's work. She's got wonderful audiobooks and recording over at understandmen.com. But in a future recording, not just yet, I am going to share that this is a choice point year for a lot of divine feminines, because it is you who leads the connection forward, and it's the feminine energy between the two of you that sets the pace, the tone, and the direction of the connection. This is a year where if you are choosing to believe that your divine masculine is not coming, that there will not be a connection here, that they can't evolve, that they are not capable of growth, if you are putting those vibrations into the connection, you are going to get that back in the years to come. This is a fork in the road moment for the navigator within you, divine feminines. As you look at the two choices, the two paths in front of you, you need to decide who you believe they are and who you believe you are. Because it's from the choices we make in 2020 that the next several years play out. And those choices, like I said, it's not a one-time thing. You got to make these choices in the earthly realm with your behaviors, Capricorn, Taurus. You got to make these behaviors in the 3D world with your choices. Are you reaching out or are you not? Are you responding or are you not? Are you delaying a response because you want to punish someone, or are you showing love and just showing up? Are you believing people when they say they care and they want to give something to you? They want to help you out. They want to make sure you're good. Are you receiving? Are you blocking them out? Are you building walls? These are the choices of 2020 for divine feminines. It's a big year, and this Aries new moon is a big moon. These are choices we're going to make repeatedly. So you just want to make sure that you've set up in yourself the clarity for yourself about who you are, and that you can stand outside of reactivity, that you don't get yourself into reactive places that stop you from being able to chart the course and navigate toward divine love and divine wisdom and divine light. So I've mentioned that twin flame readings are not available at this time. That continues until my guides tell me that it's the time to do twin flame readings. This is apparently a time they just wanted me to focus on doing personal readings. So if you'd like a personal reading to look into what your life is asking you to break down at this time in terms of the barriers and the walls you've built and the corrections and the humbling that life is asking you to make out here in the sign of Capricorn in your chart, based on the personal planets it's talking to and the houses it sits in, now is a perfect time for a personal reading. You can email me at chrysalismoon@gmail.com, KRYSALISMOON@gmail.com. You'll receive an autoresponder that explains how to book. I'll respond to your email personally within a matter of hours, or usually about 24 hours. I get back to everyone who's reached out. And if you'd like to get that personal reading, we can set that up now. I still have a few slots left for the end of April. It would be a pleasure and an honor to read for anyone who's interested in making sure that they are choosing the path of love and doing their work at this time to remove any barriers that are stopping them from standing in love. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing. I look forward to seeing how all of this resonates for you in the comments below. Take great care, and bye for now.